Welcome back to Demolition Worker. Today we enter the most restricted zone of the aircraft boneyard to find military ghosts. Here lies the legendary Boeing B-52 Stratofortress. Dismantling these massive strategic bombers is never just another scrap job. This specific demolition process represents a highly sensitive political mission. We must strictly comply with the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. Every single action taken here is closely monitored by Russian satellites orbiting high above the Earth in the vast space. The international agreements require total transparency during this destruction process. Nothing can be hidden from the watchful eyes of space. Before any a specialized team conducts a thorough inspection of the entire airframe to ensure absolute safety standards. These old bombers have been sitting in the dry desert air for many decades, waiting for their final judgment day. Workers carefully remove all hazardous materials and sensitive electronic components before the heavy machinery arrives at the designated demolition site. The sheer size of the Stratofortress is truly breathtaking. Its massive wingspan casts a huge dark shadow over the sand. We are looking at an incredible piece of military aviation history. But today, this giant metal bird must be destroyed. To comply with international treaties, the aircraft cannot just be dismantled. It must be visibly severed into 3 distinct pieces. This strict requirement guarantees that the bomber can never be reassembled or flown again under any possible circumstances in the future. Traditional cutting torches are simply too slow and inefficient for this massive job. We need something much bigger and stronger. Enter the guillotine blade, a gigantic piece of solid steel weighing exactly 13,000 pounds, designed for pure destructive power. A heavy-duty crane carefully lifts this massive blade high into the blue sky, positioning it directly over the fuselage. The tension in the air is thick. Everyone stands back at a safe distance, waiting for the final drop command. With a loud mechanical clunk, the steel cable releases. The heavy blade plummets down with terrifying speed and incredible force. The impact is deafening. The giant blade slices cleanly through the thick aluminum skin and strong structural ribs without hesitation. Dust and debris explode into the dry desert air as the mighty aircraft suffers its very first catastrophic structural failure. This brutal method is surprisingly efficient. The massive kinetic energy of the falling blade does all the hard cutting work. Workers inspect the fresh cut. The massive right wing has been completely severed from the main body of the bomber. 1 cut down, 2 more to go. The crane operator slowly reels the heavy cable back up into the sky. Now they maneuver the lifting crane over the left wing. Precision is absolutely critical to meet the strict treaty guidelines. The blade is locked into position again. It hangs ominously like a giant sword of execution over the helpless aircraft. Another release, another violent crash. The left wing drops to the sandy ground with a heavy and extremely loud thud. Watching this flying fortress being torn apart piece by piece evokes a strange feeling of melancholy among the veteran workers. These magnificent machines once patrolled the skies during the Cold War, carrying immense destructive power to deter any global conflicts. Now they are nothing more than scrap metal systematically destroyed in the middle of this quiet and vast desert landscape. The final cut will slice directly through the main fuselage, completely breaking the strong spine of the mighty strategic bomber. The crane operator carefully aligns the massive blade over the exact center section of the aircraft to ensure perfect destruction. This is the most critical moment of the entire process. The satellite cameras above are recording every single detail clearly. Down comes the heavy steel guillotine for the 3rd time, crushing the cockpit area and severing the fuselage completely apart. The mighty B-52 now lies in 3 completely separate pieces upon the bright white sand of the desert. Inspectors walk around the destroyed remains, taking detailed photographs to document the successful completion of this important treaty compliance task. These photographs and satellite images will be officially submitted to international observers to prove the bomber is permanently disabled today. Once the verification process is fully approved, the next phase of the demolition operation can finally begin at this site. Heavy excavators, equipped with massive hydraulic shears, roll into the demolition zone to tear the large aluminum chunks into pieces. These powerful hydraulic jaws fight through the thick metal frame as easily as a pair of scissors cutting through paper. The sound of tearing metal echoes loudly across the silent boneyard, singing a harsh mechanical requiem for the fallen giant. Every single piece of special military-grade steel and aluminum must be carefully sorted and placed into specific designated piles. This strict sorting process ensures that no classified technological secrets or advanced materials accidentally fall into the wrong hands forever. Security personnel closely watch the workers as they separate the valuable titanium parts from the standard aluminum fuselage body panels. The landing gear components contain incredibly strong steel alloys that require special handling before they can be completely melted down. Even the massive jet engines are meticulously disassembled, destroying their internal turbine blades to prevent any possible future reverse engineering. It takes an entire team of highly skilled technicians several weeks to fully process just one of these massive bombers. Large industrial magnets are used to lift the heavy steel chunks and drop them directly into waiting transportation cargo trucks. Each truck is carefully weighed and meticulously documented before it is allowed to leave this highly secure military demolition facility. The final destination for all this sorted scrap metal is a specialized industrial smelting plant located many miles away today. Inside the smelting plant, massive furnaces burn at incredibly high temperatures, ready to consume the remains of the fallen aircraft. The metal chunks are pushed into the glowing orange fire, melting down the proud history of the strategic bomber forever. It is a mesmerizing and somewhat sad visual spectacle to watch the solid military-grade steel turn into glowing liquid. This intense heat destroys any remaining physical traces of the advanced manufacturing techniques originally used to build these flying fortresses. The newly formed liquid metal is then poured into standard rectangular molds to create solid commercial-grade aluminum building ingots. These shiny new metal ingots will eventually be sold to various manufacturing companies across the country for peaceful civilian uses. The very same metal that once carried nuclear weapons might soon become part of a new car or soda can. This incredible transformation from a deadly weapon of mass destruction to everyday household items represents the ultimate cycle of recycling. Back at the boneyard, the cleanup crew continues their hard work under the unforgiving heat of the bright afternoon sun. They must ensure that absolutely no debris is left behind on the white desert sand after the demolition is completed. A magnetic sweeper truck slowly drives across the entire area, picking up stray bolts and sharp metal shards with ease. Environmental protection is also a major priority here. All toxic aviation fluids were safely drained long before the cutting started. The empty patch of sand is now completely clear, ready to receive the very next retired bomber waiting in line. Looking across the vast boneyard, hundreds of other aircraft sit silently, waiting for their inevitable turn to face the guillotine. Each one of these planes holds thousands of unique stories from the brave pilots who flew them during tense missions. The demolition workers often find small personal items left behind in the cockpits, serving as ghostly reminders of past crews. An old faded photograph, a lucky coin, or a simple handwritten note tucked away inside a dark, hidden storage compartment. These tiny human elements add a profound layer of emotional depth to what's otherwise a cold mechanical destruction process. Despite the emotional weight, the workers remain highly focused on their complex tasks, knowing the global importance of their job. By destroying these weapons of war, they are actively participating in the ongoing global effort to maintain peace and security. The Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty has successfully led to the verifiable destruction of hundreds of these massive long-range bombers. Our cameras capture the raw power of the heavy machinery as it continues to chew through the remaining aluminum structures. Sparks fly wildly into the air as a high-speed grinding wheel cuts through a particularly thick section of titanium. The workers wear heavy protective gear, including thick leather gloves and dark welding helmets to shield themselves from flying debris. Teamwork is absolutely essential here. Every single person must communicate clearly over the deafening roar of the heavy diesel engine. A supervisor constantly monitors the entire operation from a safe distance, holding a detailed checklist of treaty compliance verification steps. Nothing can be rushed. A single mistake could result in a serious international incident or a dangerous workplace safety violation. As the sun begins to set over the western horizon, the desert sky turns into a brilliant canvas of colors. The long shadows cast by the remaining aircraft create a hauntingly beautiful scene across the vast and dusty boneyard landscape. The demolition crew finally powers down their heavy machinery, bringing a sudden and peaceful silence back to the desert floor. They gather their tools and slowly walk back to the main base camp, exhausted but proud of their hard work. Tomorrow, they will return to this exact same spot to begin dismantling another legendary ghost of the Cold War era. The sheer scale of this ongoing industrial operation is a powerful testament to human engineering and strict international diplomatic agreements. It takes incredible skill to build these magnificent flying machines, but it takes equal precision to properly tear them apart. We have witnessed the complete life cycle of a military legend, from a proud strategic bomber to a pile of scrap. The legacy of the B-52 Stratofortress will forever remain written in the history books of modern military aviation. But its physical form must be erased to ensure a safer world for future generations, free from these destructive weapons. The satellite high above makes one final pass over the boneyard, recording the empty space where the mighty bomber rested. Data is instantly transmitted across the globe, confirming that another deadly aircraft has been successfully eliminated from the active roster. This complex process guarantees that the delicate balance of global power is maintained through mutual trust and transparent verification methods. Every worker involved in this demolition project understands the deep historical significance of their daily routine in the hot desert. They are not merely destroying old airplanes. They are actively shaping the future of international arms control and global security. As the night finally falls, the glowing furnaces at the smelting plant continue to burn bright, consuming the metal remains. The molten aluminum flows like a glowing river of fire, washing away the violent past and preparing for peaceful applications. This incredible journey from the stratosphere to the scrapyard is a fascinating story of technology, politics, and heavy industry. We hope you enjoyed this exclusive behind-the-scenes look at one of the most restricted demolition sites on Earth. Our dedicated team will continue to bring you more amazing stories of extreme demolition projects from all around the world. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell for more exciting industrial content. Thank you so much for watching Demolition Worker today. Stay safe, keep building, and we will see you next time.